Hey guys.
The Gonk Droid here and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever played a Lego game? If so, there is one thing that is scattered all around the levels. And yes, you probably know where this is going now, don't you? Right then. This is a beginning of a new 6-part series where I attempt to beat Lego Star Wars the complete saga, studless. And yeah, I said it, studless. I will try and complete all 36 levels in free play mode, because without free play would just be impossible. This challenge is pretty hard because the studs are basically everywhere, and I actually mean it, on platforms, on handles, just basically everywhere. So that's why it's a challenge. This challenge is suggested by myself. Right enough. It's time for the rules. The rules are simple. Don't touch them. Now the rules are set. Let's start with the very first level.
The Negotiator.
Sorry, not Negotiator. I meant negotiations. Yup, let's do it. Here we go. Negotiations. Negotiations is pretty easy and teaches us that we have a huge hitbox. Yeah, which is definitely a bad thing. Keep to the sides here and dodge to studs, then you'll be completely fine. Be careful over here, because you don't want to touch that stud like me.
Remember to wait for the studs to vanish and then strike. Be patient and most areas will be effortless. When you're here, be very careful of the droids shooting at you and do not touch that at all cost. Also, don't be stupid like me and go down here. Instead, you can just be smart and do the epic gamer jump here. Take out the droidicus and use the force to build up that platform, and there we go guys. Just simply jump. Oh no. Yeah, as you see we are stuck. There's no actual way now to avoid these studs, so the very first stage of the whole game is unfortunately impossible. So now, it begs the new question. How many stages in Lego Star Wars the complete saga are possible to beat studless? So right now, we cannot beat negotiations, which is a shame. I really didn't anticipate this, to be honest. But let's brighten our spurs. This tiny thing won't ruin our day. Okay, let's try Chapter 2 Invasion of Naboo. I wish this is possible. Be very careful of the studs on the middle here. It's easy to go around them, but it's not very easy, especially when you're swarmed by droids here. When you use the force to build the tree up, run immediately unless you want to get studded. Yeah, it's a word now.
Also be extremely careful when you're trying to break the MTT. It's quite difficult to maneuver, so the best choice is to probably run and get out of there. Be cautious when you run away because you don't want to run into a stud. After the MTT you will meet this area where you have to quickly jump over it.
In this part, you have to actually be a character such as Boba or Jango Fett to fly over the studs. But now, we are again stuck. Yes, I mean it. Normally you are supposed to jump up here, but they have studs. I tried flying here, but it also had stupid studs. Shake my head. This is stupid. Yeah, unfortunately, the first 2 levels of the game is impossible. Yeah, pretty sad, isn't it? I did the old way and found that there were large sections such as here that I could not skip. I tried many times and I failed. But here, it look a bit impossible, doesn't it, eh? Well, luckily it isn't. You basically need a Fett or any other jetpack character and do a epic gamer jump. Oh yeah, right? I'm not actually a epic gamer. Avoid the studs here and jump across. Walk along the sides around here to dodge the studs. Here, it is again really tricky or just simply impossible to do. Fly over the studs and then enter the swappy area. This area where you have to jump up to this ruins is impossible. and there is no way to go around these pesky and annoying studs. Luckily you can skip all of these studs by flying as one of the feds. Unfortunately the final stud that is impossible in the level is on the platform here. You simply cannot advance to the rest of the level without picking up this. And that's it for chapter 2. Fly above the studs. If you see them, then you're done. Here we go guys, we are in chapter 3, Escape from the Palace. I don't know if this one is really possible or not, but I have a bad feeling about this. We already have our very first obstacle, one stud on the grapple area and another one on top, which is a bummer. Other than that, most studs are avoidable. Be aware to run away when you destroy this flower bed. Try not to use a melee weapon if possible. When you enter this area, you have to fly around and precisely land on spots where there are no studs. I tried so many times and failed like an idiot. It's really hard to pull off. I only managed to do it as you see here, but I accidentally jumped instead of flying, which is really idiotic. But at the end it is actually possible. It's so annoying that the game keeps forcing you to do stupidly precise jump. When you are at the large window here, remember to carefully fly above the studs and land. Same with this bridge area.
Just don't be stupid like me and land on a stud.
Over here simply jump instead of taking that elevator, probably taking away chances of touching an evil and pesky stud. Over here, bombard the droids with fire and destroy those barrel things, but run away as normal to prevent being studded. Open the gate and you are onto the final part of the level. Fortunately, this part also has some impossible bits, such as the fact that these platforms have studs on them, but you have to step on it so you can advance to the ending cutscene. Yeah, it's bad. I even tried to use an Ugnaught because its small height could help, but there was no use. Avoid the studs there and wait for it to disappear, and you are again good to go.
This is our first spaceship vehicle level, and from the very beginning of the run, I knew it was not possible, but I tried it anyways, and found out that most of the poles that give you studs were quite possible to dodge, but some were not. But the main problem here is that I could not catch up to the opponent. Even if I did, I would have collected a whole load of studs. This one was very difficult. No matter how I tried, I could not catch up at all. It's also really hard to dodge the poles, added with the fact that I have to dodge the minikits too.
So to conclude this chapter, it is just impossible to dodge the studs and catch up with the opponent at the same time.
Next is chapter 5, Retake the Palace. I've already built up quite a bit of uncertainty, to be honest. All the levels we've done yet were impossible, so it would be quite a surprise to see if this was possible. Starting off here, use the force to quickly build the platform and rush to the top. But beware that there are studs there. It is not possible if you take the main route. So you have to do 2 epic gamer jump to get to the top.
Fly above those studs to get across. There isn't too much to talk about in this area. Be very careful and patient. Remember to avoid the studs when you build this R2 panel at the staircase. Be very precise with your jumps and you'll be just fine.
Here, ride the elevator like thingy that I don't know what to call. Fly to the large platform over here and land safely and studlessly. Yes, it is also a word now. Fly over here and go up to the switch on top. But, unfortunately there is another unskippable stud here. We were doing so good with this one. Such a shame and miss opportunity. Over here in this section is where you have to get up to the mezzanine can be performed studless. The best way is to destroy another one of those flower beds and wait for the studs to despawn.
Be very cautious on the steps here because there are studs at the edges as well as one single stud in the middle here. But with precise movements, it is possible indeed. Take out that droideka, and let's get to the final part of the stage, which is by the way the worst part. The main objective here is to save those pilots from the hostage of the Trade Federation battle droids, and some of those battle droids have laid deadly studs around themselves. How rude. Rescuing most of the hostages are pretty easy, but a few such as here have unskippable studs. Yeah, depressing indeed. Anyways, I think that will be it for this chapter and let's move on to the final one.
Right guys, it's the final level now. I really wish this is a possible one because none of the ones we played in this video were possible. Without further ado though, let's jump into it. Taking out the droids can be easily done studless, but this is where the pain begins. When you chase after more into the main generator, it starts to get really bad. I had to be very precise in my movement like jumping. But there were unskippable studs everywhere I went, and I kept falling and dying over and over again. You could fly above some studs, but most were just simply a bummer. It was really tedious to start over and over again. Finally, after entering the place with those battle droids, it gets finally easier. Yup, no studs required in this part. Kick the droid's butt and let's get move on. The section with all those switches is pretty easy, just dodge the incoming studs and you can move on to the final area of the stage. The final showdown with Maul is a tad bit annoying. There are studs scattered everywhere. Be very careful, it will be just fine. So, all the levels in episode 1 The Phantom Menace are not possible studless, which is a big bummer. A lot of the levels would be very possible without some studs. Shake my head. Anyways guys, I wish you enjoyed this video. It took quite a while to edit this video, so I would appreciate it if you leave a like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and bye.